Hello everyone, our lesson for today is all about subtraction of polynomials. Earlier, we defined the difference x negative y as positive times the quantity of negative y. We find the difference x negative y by adding x and the opposite of y. This is what we call the additive inverse of polynomial. When we say additive inverse, you can see that in the second polynomial, we can change the sign. We subtract two polynomials by changing all the signs on the second polynomials. Like for example, 7 negative 2 is equal to 7 plus negative 2. And negative 8 minus negative 2, you can see that in additive inverse, we can use negative times negative becomes positive. So negative 8 plus 2 becomes negative 6. And 7 minus 5 minus 2 becomes 5. A similar method is used to subtract polynomials. Then when we subtract two polynomials, change all the signs on the second polynomials and adding the result to the first polynomial. Like for example, subtract quantity of 5x negative 2 minus 3x negative 8. We can see that the additive inverse of 3x negative 8 becomes negative 3x plus 8, and this is the additive inverse of polynomials. And copy the first polynomials, which is 5 negative 2 plus the additive inverse, which is negative 3x plus 8. 5x plus negative 3 becomes 2x. Negative 2 plus positive 8, since the larger value is positive, so we can use positive, so 2x plus 6. 5x negative 3x becomes 2x, and negative 2 positive 8 becomes positive 6, because positive is the bigger value. And let's have another example, number 2, which is 11x cubed plus 2x squared negative 8 minus 6x cubed negative 4x squared positive 2. You can see that our additive inverse of this is negative 6x cubed positive 4x squared negative 2. And this is the additive inverse of, we can see that the additive inverse is changing all the sign in the second polynomials. And then copy the first polynomial, 11x cubed plus 2x squared negative 8 plus the additive inverse, which is negative 6x cubed plus 4x squared negative 2. And then add 11x cubed plus negative 6x cubed becomes 5x cubed. Positive 2x squared plus 4x squared becomes 6x squared. Negative 8 plus negative 2 becomes negative 10, because it is the same sign, so we can add negative times negative becomes negative plus negative becomes negative. And let's have another example, 14y cubed negative 6y squared plus 2y negative 5 minus 2y cubed 7y squared negative 4y plus 6 we can see this in this method. We can see that vertical method, we can arrange into column number 1, which is 14y cubed. We can see that in this row, 14y cubed negative 6y squared plus 2y negative 5, and the second row, which is 2y cubed negative 7y squared negative 4y positive 6 equals. We can see this in the additive inverse of polynomials. We can change all the sign in the second row of polynomials. So negative becomes positive, positive becomes negative, negative 5 plus negative 6 becomes negative 11, positive plus positive becomes positive 6y, negative plus positive, you can see that the larger value is 7, so we can use positive y squared, subtract. Then 14 minus 2, since 2 is negative, so we subtract. The answer is 12y cubed plus y squared plus 6y negative 11. Either horizontal or vertical method may be used for adding and subtracting polynomials. When polynomials in more than one variable are added and subtracted by combining like terms, just as with single variable polynomials. We see another example, 12m cubed negative 8m squared plus 6m plus 7, and we can copy the second row, which is 3m cubed plus 5m squared negative 2m negative 4. You can see that change all the sign in the second row of polynomials, the additive inverse of polynomials. And let's see, positive 3 becomes negative 3, positive becomes negative, and positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive, negative becomes positive. So 7 plus 4 becomes positive 11, positive positive plus cos 8m, negative, since they have the same sign, so we can add, which is 13m squared, and this one the opposite sign, which is subtract. 12 minus 3 becomes 9m cubed, and this is the answer. And let's have another example, quantity of 2x negative 5 minus 3x negative 7. The additive inverse is negative 3x plus 7. This is the additive inverse. And then solve 2x negative 5 plus the additive inverse, which is negative 3x plus 7, to 2x plus negative 3. Since 3 is the larger value, we can use negative, so 3 minus 2 becomes 1, since x have always a factor of 1, so the answer is negative x. Then negative 5 plus 7, since the larger value is 7, so we can use positive, and negative x plus 2 becomes the answer. Let's have another example, 5b to the fourth negative 3b squared plus 9 minus 6v fourth to the fourth plus 11b squared negative 10. Our additive inverse is negative v to the fourth, negative 11b squared plus 10. This is the additive inverse. We can change all the sign in the second row of polynomials and copy the first polynomial, 5b to the fourth, 3b negative 3b squared plus 9 plus the additive inverse, which is negative 6b to the fourth, negative 11b squared plus 10, which is equal to 5 plus negative 6. Since the larger value is 6, so we can copy the sign, which is negative. So 6 minus 5 becomes 1. So v, there is always a factor of 1. So the answer is negative b to the fourth, and negative 3b squared plus negative becomes negative. Positive plus positive becomes positive, so the answer is negative b to the fourth, negative 14b squared plus 19. Remember that. And let's have another example. U cubed negative 3u squared negative 4u plus 8 minus u cubed negative 2u positive 4. We can use the vertical method, which is u cubed negative 3u squared negative 4u plus 8, and copy the second row, which is u cubed. This is subtractions. Remember that we arrange the row into like terms and change all the sign in the second polynomials, which is positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive, and positive becomes negative. So since our larger value is 8, so 8 minus 4 becomes positive 4. Since the larger value is 4, so we can use negative 2u and copy this and cancel out this because it have the same value and different sign. And this is the answer. And let's have another example. R squared negative 2r negative 5 minus 3r squared negative 5r plus 7 positive 7. Then change the sign on the second polynomial, means our additive inverse of polynomials, which is negative 3 is r squared plus 5r negative 7, and then copy the first polynomial, which is r squared negative 2r negative 5 plus the additive inverse, which is negative 3r squared plus 5r negative 7 is equal to r squared plus negative 3. Since the larger value is 3, so we can copy the sign, which is negative 2r squared, because 3 minus 1, since there is 1 in r squared, so the answer is negative 2r squared. And negative 2r plus 5r, the larger value is 5, so 5 minus 2 becomes positive 3. And negative 5 plus negative 5, we can copy the sign and then add, and this is the answer, negative 2r squared plus 3r negative 2.